Hey everybody, it's Greg back to here, and in this video we're going to do a comparison between the Sony A7S III and the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K Pro. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to label one camera Camera A and the other camera Camera B. I want you to kind of guess as I show you the little clips which one you think is the Sony, which one you think is the Blackmagic. Put it in the comment section below, and then at the end of the video I'm going to reveal which one was which. We'll kind of get into talking a little bit more about the clips and things like that. So anyway, get ready. We're going to look at Camera A, Camera B. Give us your best guess. Before we get to that, I'll give you a chance to leave your comment, and then I'll reveal which one is which. All right, let's get started.
What to do to blow my mind. You're from another planet. I've never felt like this. I don't know how I ever survived without it. I'm starry-eyed. Got me upside down, spinning around you. Wanna taste the clouds, dance with the moon. Take a trip around your body. Boy, I love the way you got me. Starry-eyed, got me starry-eyed. This bed is out of space, just keep painting constellations. You cover me in glitter till I'm shining bright. I never wanna leave the sky. The way you made me feel alive. I was in the dark and baby, you're the light. You're from another planet. I've never felt like this. I don't know how I ever survived without it. I'm starry-eyed. Got me upside down, spinning around you. Wanna taste the clouds, dance with the moon. Take a trip around your body. Boy, I love the way you got me. Starry-eyed, got me starry-eyed. Couldn't fight if I wanted. Flying to places that I never thought I could go. You're a meteor shower, falling down all over me. Yeah, you're making me glow. Couldn't fight if I wanted. Flying to places that I never thought I could go. Starry-eyed, got me starry-eyed. Yeah, got me upside down, spinning around you. Wanna taste the clouds, dance with the moon.
All right, I hope you enjoyed those clips. I'm going to get into details about how I shot each clip, so stick around for that part of the video. So here's the part where you get to guess. So before I reveal it, which camera did you think was Camera A? Did you think it was the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K Pro or the Sony? Let me know in the comment section below. I'm about to reveal which one was which. I'd just like to know if you could see a difference. So I showed this footage to my wife. She couldn't really tell the difference between two cameras, but if you're a pixel peeper or you're really into cameras and lenses, you probably could see the difference. I did my best to color match everything and get the exposures right. So let me know in the comment section below, what did you think was Camera A? Was it the Sony or was it the Blackmagic? Camera B, which one do you think it was? Go ahead, put it in right now, and I'll reveal it to you right now. Okay, so Camera A was the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K Pro. So I'm going to get into the details about how I shot these clips, what lenses I used, and everything else right now. So let's get into it. All right, let's go over some technical aspects of this video. So I wanted to use the same lenses on both the Sony and the Blackmagic. The Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K Pro is a Canon EF mount. So I got the Sigma MC11 adapter so that I could use the same lenses. So I used two lenses for this. I used the Zeiss 50mm f1.4 ZE for Canon EF. It's a great little lens. You can pick these up on Amazon, maybe 600 or 700 Canadian. And I also used the Zeiss 35 f1.4. So these two lenses match each other quite well. They're in the same Zeiss family, the ZE for Canon. So I used these interchangeably because I didn't want to keep swapping, say, just the 50 to the Sony, then the 50 to the Blackmagic and back and forth. So I used the 35 and the 50 on both cameras, and I tried to shoot with both lenses on both cameras. And also, too, to keep things consistent, I didn't use the ND filters in the Blackmagic. Although it comes with internal NDs, I used B+W filters. One was a 3-stop and the other was a 6-stop on one of the lenses. So you may see some focus differences, and that's not because one camera is not as sharp as the other. It's just that one was a 6-stop, so I could shoot a little more open, just to give you an idea of how that looked with a shallower depth of field. And then the other one was just stopped down a little more because it was very bright out. Now also too, I brought the color checker with me, so I did a custom white balance with this before each sort of scene. And I also took some time in post because I own both cameras, the Sony A7S III and the Blackmagic, so I'm familiar with grading both of these cameras in DaVinci Resolve. But I took some time to try to color match them as best I could. Now, I know that the Blackmagic is a 6K camera and the Sony is a 4K, but there's some differences. Obviously, the size for one, this is a very large, heavy camera, but it's more of a cinema camera, so it doesn't have autofocus and it doesn't have IBIS, or built-in stabilization, where the Sony has really good autofocus during video. So there's some big differences, and obviously if you need autofocus with your camera or if you need IBIS, the Sony's the way to go. Was I surprised about anything? I would say I was a little bit more surprised by some of the shots that I was able to capture with the 6K Pro. We're just going to call it that from now on. I tried to get the colors to match as best I could, and there was a couple shots I felt like the 6K Pro, the colors just looked better, the image looked a little bit sharper, it just looked a little bit better to me. So I would give the edge if it was just pure image quality. I mean, it's 6K, right? So 6K versus 4K. The color science, I would say, might be slightly better on this, although I've seen fantastic colors come out of the Sony A7S III. So if you really kind of tweak things, you can really get the Sony looking amazing. But I tried to keep it even as far as not doing too much to the files of the Blackmagic and not doing too much to the Sony, just to see how they kind of go if you were just doing some minimal grading. And so I shot in Blackmagic RAW on the Blackmagic camera, constant bitrate 3:1. So pretty high quality, but I shot that to an internal SD card. I'm not cheating or anything. You can shoot RAW internally, and so I shot in Blackmagic RAW 3:1, which is a pretty good quality image when you shoot it that way. And then with the Sony, well, I just shot on the highest quality 4K that I could internally. Although you can shoot externally to a monitor, I don't have an external monitor that would allow me to do that, so I shot internally. So both cameras were shot internally. I used the same lenses on both cameras. I had the Zeiss, pretty good lenses. They're both prime lenses, manual focus lenses. So I manually focused on the Sony and I manually focused on the Blackmagic. So hopefully that covers all the details, because I know a lot of times people like to see the same lens on both cameras so they can estimate. The footage you see is shot with the same lenses on both cameras. Didn't use the internal NDs on the Blackmagic because I didn't think that would be fair. So I had some B+W ND filters that I used because I was outside. And that's about it. It's tough because if you're watching this video, you may be on the fence about which camera to get, and if you can only get one. If you want something light and portable for YouTube that has autofocus, that also takes pretty decent stills, that has some built-in, image stabilization, Sony's the way to go, definitely. But it's more money, obviously. If I'm going somewhere and I just want to get the shot and I just want to bring a gimbal and I want something lighter, again, I'm going to bring the Sony. If I'm going on vacation, say to Iceland, I can only bring one camera, I'm going to bring the Sony. But if image quality is the most important thing, and if I have a tripod and if I have the gimbal set up right and I don't mind, manual focus, then I probably would lean towards the Blackmagic. And so if you're more of someone who is cinema camera type person, so maybe if you're doing documentaries or if you're doing interviews and things like that, or films, I'm pretty impressed at the price point. Although it's not super cheap, at this price point you can get a better quality image out of this, I would argue, than the Sony. So if image quality is your #1 factor, I would pick this. Now, one thing I didn't test for this video is rolling shutter, and I can just tell you that the Sony's better than the Blackmagic. You can just Google it. The rolling shutter is not as good on the Blackmagic camera as the Sony, so that's another thing I think that separates them. They're different cameras, and I thought that maybe after sort of testing out the Blackmagic for my channel, doing a few videos, that I might sell this camera, just because I'm more of a Sony shooter. I found myself wanting to get more more lenses for this camera. And now that I have the Sigma, I know this video is getting long, but now that I have this Sigma adapter, now one thing about this Sigma MC11 adapter is you can use Canon EF Sigma lenses on the Sony, and the autofocus in video works, although they don't claim that it does. Although the Canon EF lenses, the autofocus does not work. So I'll just say that again. If you have a Sigma for Canon EF, this will allow you to use the autofocus with your Sigma lens for Canon on a Sony. But I just picked up this lens too. I got this cheap. Now one thing I find too is a lot of people are going to the RF mount, or maybe they're switching from Canon to Sony. So you can get a lot of Canon EF lenses, both from Canon or Sigma or Tamron, for a relatively good price. So I just picked this up. It's a Canon 24 to 105 f4 with built-in image stabilization. I got this for 500 Canadian dollars used, and it's in pretty good shape. One thing about using the Blackmagic with the EF mount is that you can get a lot of pretty good affordable lenses. Like if you watch all my videos, I got this lens here. It was 400 cash and older Canon FD lens that I traded like a speedlight for it. So it was maybe 600 bucks if you thought about what it would have cost me for this. And this originally sold for something like $1,800, this the Zeiss 35 f1.4. You can get some really high quality EF mount lenses for probably 50% what they would have been retail or less. So that's another advantage I think that goes to the Blackmagic. And then if you do have a Sony camera, you get something like the MC11, and you can use them with manual focus. And if you happen to pick up some old Sigma lenses that are Canon EF, you can use the autofocus in videos. It's pretty cool to have both of them. If image quality is number one and you don't need autofocus or IBIS, or rolling shutters not something that you're very concerned about, then go with the Blackmagic 6K Pro. Definitely go with the 6K Pro over the regular 6K because the screen, it tilts, it's brighter, battery performance is better. 6K Pro over the 6K any day. And if autofocus is important, or having a flip out screen that faces you is important, or IBIS, or just a smaller lightweight camera that also shoots great stills, then go with the Sonys. Hopefully this helped you. I showed my wife both clips and she couldn't tell the difference between the two cameras. If you're a pixel peeper, you might see the difference, and maybe you got the one right, A or B. But anyway, I'm going to wrap up this video. If you have any comments or questions, post them down below. If you found this video helpful, give me a thumbs up. Helps this video get more views. If you're not already a subscriber, hit that subscribe button and hit that bell notification, and you'll get updates when my next video goes live. All right, thanks for watching this video. Thumbs up, subscribe, and leave a comment below if there's a video that you want me to put out in the future that you'd like to see. All right, thanks again for watching. I'll see you in the next video.